Hey guys, in today's video, we're going to be watching and reacting to Money with Mick's video on why selling digital products on Etsy is dead. Let's get to it. All right, I've got my trusty reaction video headphones in. I'm excited to see why Mickey thinks we should spend our time doing other things than sell digital products on Etsy. By the way, I'm going to speed it up to about 1.25x speed. If you guys want to watch her video and subscribe, show her channel some love, it'll be the first link at the top of the description. Let's get to it.
Importantly, I'm going to tell you what you can do about it. So let's get into it. It is no secret that selling digital products on Etsy has been all over the rage lately. And it makes sense. Everyone needs a platform to get started that has a low barrier to entry, low overhead cost to just go ahead and get started. Here's a quick background on why I'm so passionate about.
Good points, by the way. I mean, if you think about it, I always like to remind everybody, it used to be that you'd have to pay for retail space, pay for inventory to stock the shelves, pay employees to make sales. Now it's like, oh, go open up an Etsy account for free and sell to a global audience. Pretty cool. We're pretty spoiled.
About moving your digital products off of Etsy. So I too started my online business on Etsy, selling digital products. I poured my heart and soul into this, doing research, finding out where the gap in the market was and where I could actually make money. And at the height of my online digital product store on Etsy, I was making between $5,000 and $8,000 a month consistently, which was amazing and life-changing money for me. And in the last year, Etsy digital.
By the way, pretty good. $5,000, $8,000 a month. That probably puts her in the top 1%. You would expect that, right? So go definitely show her some love. Anybody who knows what they're talking about and is giving out free information on YouTube, that's something that's commendable. And I think it actually factors into what she's talking about later in the video when it comes to what to do, instead of selling digital products on Etsy.
Products have become increasingly popular to the point where the market is just flooded with subpar products at extremely low price points, so much so that it's almost impossible for your high quality product to be found, and it's certainly impossible for you to charge what your product is worth.
A great point. And also, I mean, come on now, it's a low barrier of entry to sell on Etsy, low barrier of entry to sell digital products. I mean, she knows this. I know it, you know it, but worth, saying low barrier of entry and, we're selling digital products. It's going to be a race to the bottom in terms of pricing. So she makes some more good points here.
So now for me, that means with all these additional products that are honestly inferior to mine, I only consistently make about $3,000 now from Etsy. Admittedly, I don't put any new listings out on Etsy anymore. I just let my old listings ride. So this is almost 100% passive income for me. So I'm grateful for that. But I've been putting my efforts elsewhere so that I can make my online business a long-term strategy. So if you're looking to do the same, make a life-changing amount of money and have an online business that is sustainable, then this video is for you. Now,
by the way, anytime, I'm sorry, I have to interrupt every now and then for this to be a reaction video and not just be, watching her video with you guys. I was just going to say, like, anytime I spend my time doing something with e-commerce, I want to have an edge. So for me, like selling on Etsy, if I'm going to do it for digital products, I'm going to use MyDesigns. If I'm going to do it for apparel, I'm probably going to use MyDesigns because anybody who's not using that is at a significant disadvantage to me, right? Because I can do what would take a team of people to do with just that software. All right. And make sure you subscribe. I'm going to drop some MyDesign videos next week, including I'm going to be joined by Curtis.
I want to be clear that you can still be successful on Etsy, but it's going to take one of two things. You're going to have to pay a lot of money in ads in order to be seen, or you're going to have to be churning out a ton of new listings all the time. And for me, my side hustle has always been a way for me to get more time freedom and not just be an additional 9 to 5 for me. I wanted to make actual money from this, money that could help my family and free up my time from having to work so much in a traditional 9 to 5, not just have another 9 to 5. So I didn't want to spend all my time just churning out new listing after new listing. And additionally, for me, I wanted to focus on high quality listings, things that I was super proud of, instead of just coming up with new things or shorter things or things that didn't provide as much value. When I say that selling digital products on Etsy is dead, I am referring to 3 things specifically.
And before she gets to those 3 things, guys, yeah, I mean, she makes some really good points. You got to make it work for you. There's a lot of things you could be doing with your time, really infinite, right? If you want to try to make money with your time, well, do you want to trade your time for a predetermined amount of money? Go work a 9 to 5. Do you want to try to build passive income online? Well, there's going to be some work involved, right? I mean, she made that clear. I'm not saying this as if I'm like correcting her. There's definitely work to be done. And she mentioned that that's what got her to that point of 5K to 8K. But then it's the continuous loop of chasing the next big thing, right? And that's something that happens in print on demand as well. If you just go from trend to trend, which I think honestly probably is the optimal strategy on Etsy, which is why I favor more Amazon, where I make a lot of money just selling evergreens, selling fringe evergreens too. I don't even do research, honestly.
The first is that Etsy is a platform of price arbitrage. I mentioned this a little bit before, but you don't own Etsy, you don't own anything that Etsy does. And so right next to your listing, Etsy is literally promoting your competitor's listing right next to your listing. It's like you've done all the hard work, maybe through SEO, through ads, driving your own traffic from outside sources to your listing, and then Etsy's gonna go ahead and put your competitor right next to you. It's like, okay, sure. And then again, I mentioned this before, but there's a low barrier to entry for Etsy, which is good to get started. However, for a long-term business plan, you're gonna need to have a platform that has some sort of higher barrier of entry, because Otherwise, it's just going to continually be flooded by people who are just literally copying your design word for word or image for image.
Yep, exactly. Low barrier of entry, you kind of know what you're going to get, guys. One of the benefits of like how hard they've made it to sell on Amazon or on Walmart, Etsy's still pretty easy, is that, you know, the higher the barrier of entry, like she just said, lower competition, less people just ripping you off blatantly. All of those are, you know, good things. So the harder it is for you to get started, think of it as a good thing down the line.
There's so many softwares out there now, some that I use myself to do competitor research, but I never copy anyone that I see. I use it as inspiration. But unfortunately for me and my digital product business, I found that people will literally just copy my listing word for word or image for image. It's just so easy to do with digital products. And on Etsy, that software just allows this type of theft to happen so rampantly. And also, generally, the lowest price on Etsy gets a sale. It's as simple as that. So at this point, I'm having to charge for my digital products nowhere near what they're worth just so I can try and make a sale. And honestly, I'm kind of fed up at this point, which is why I'm transferring all of my digital products off of Etsy, where I can drive my own traffic and get 4 to 5 times the amount per sale. I'm going to show you 2 examples of exactly what I'm talking about here with the price arbitrage and what you can charge off of Etsy versus on Etsy at the end of this video. Number 2 is that Etsy is a platform of attrition. And what I mean by this is that Etsy is a numbers game. As I mentioned before, unless you're spending a significant amount of your money on ads, you are going to have to be churning out listings all of the time just in order to get seen on Etsy.
And for what it's worth, for anybody that's never run ads on e-commerce platforms, I usually think of the ad spend as a function of the profit margin I have in the product that I'm selling. So if you're selling a digital product for $1, you can spend up to $1 to generate a sale and still be breaking even, or anything less than that, you're profitable. Plus, every sale you make is going to help you rank on the search terms that they typed into the search bar before they clicked and purchased from you. So it is also investing in the future. Don't lose sight of that.
First off, Etsy simply rewards when you're putting out new listings, right? So its algorithm likes that in general, but also you're just gonna have to continue to cast this wide net in order to get sales. And for me, I really like to focus on quality over quantity. As I mentioned, the exception to this is if you run Etsy ads, then you don't need as many listings per se to get seen. But first off, this is eating into your profit margin. And second off, you can still make 2 to 4 to sometimes 5 times the amount of money off of a listing if you do ads to drive it to your offsite location as to on Etsy. So it doesn't really make sense to spend the money on Etsy where you're gonna make so much less. If you're gonna spend that money on ads anyway, drive it to your own website where you're gonna make 5 times as much. It just makes logical sense to me. And
I agree. The thing is, like, when you send traffic off of Etsy, I mean, everybody watching this video, like if we were in a classroom, like raise your hand if you have a website set up with your own like e-commerce backbone and, you know, the website loads quickly and captures emails, maybe does SMS marketing too. You have retargeting ads set up. You know what I mean? It's a lot of things to check off the list to execute properly. I'm not trying to talk you out of doing it, but if you're going to spend money on ads, the context of somebody that goes to Etsy, performs a keyword search, and clicks you because you ran an Etsy ad and you showed up at the top of search, to me, is a lot less friction and easy to get to that endpoint that ultimately yields a sale to you than the alternative. If you only had to choose one, I mean, I'm a fan of doing all the above, but I know not everybody's like me that's always at their computer and thinks of themselves as pretty comfortable, you know, and competent with like the digital skills. Launching your own website. I'm just saying, obviously there's a lot to that, right? But she's making great points. I don't disagree. I'm just saying there's a lot that goes into it.
And number 3, Etsy owns your customers, not you. It's really important to understand that. Honestly, email lists are king of the game when it comes to selling digital products or any products for that matter, and Etsy hates external links. Etsy hates you driving traffic off of Etsy, and so it's gonna do everything that it can to just keep your customers right there. So unless you do something to get your customer email when they're on your store, you don't have their email, you have their name, that's it. But Etsy doesn't even really like you contacting them and promoting to them outside of the official Etsy channels.
Yeah, it's probably a matter of time before Etsy kills the ability to drop outbound links and even like does, I don't know. I'm still kind of amazed that it's about to be 2024 and they still let you drop links and also collect emails. I mean, honestly, I think it's just that Etsy doesn't have, I'm just guessing that they don't have competent developers, because they, remember how they had like the publishing bug where you had to click the publishing button twice and that lasted for years and years and years. Etsy, I have a lot of questions and I don't think we'll ever get answers.
And so you don't own your customers. A little later on in this video, I'm going to talk about why it's so important to collect emails and how much easier it is to resell a similar item to a customer that's already yours rather than trying to get a new customer right from the beginning. So what can you do instead? And the answer is sell your own digital products on your own platform. And just hear me out here. This is not as scary as it sounds. I'll be honest that it takes a little bit of learning and time up front, but if you're already selling on Etsy, you have the skills that you need in order to do this. And if you put in that work up front, you're going to make significantly more money. And in most cases, it's going to be the same amount of work or even less than what you're already putting into Etsy. Okay.
So I actually have already seen the video, and I do like the points that she's going to make, and actually inspired me to do this as a reaction video, because I feel like I can't put out a video on what she's going to say, but I can definitely react to one and be like, I agree.
Before I go any further, I just want to say, and hear me out, you need to start thinking about yourself as a business owner. If you are taking Etsy seriously, and if you want to make life-changing amounts of money for yourself, for your family, if you want to free up your time, if eventually your goal is to either reduce your time at your 9 to 5 or quit it altogether, you need to take this seriously, and you need to consider yourself as a business owner. You own an online business that happens to sell some of their products on Etsy versus your side hustle is selling products on Etsy. Do you understand the mentality shift there? It's really important that if you're going to make life-changing amounts of money and you're going to take this somewhere, it's really important to start considering yourself a business owner. And the fact that you are a business owner is why I think you deserve better than Etsy. Honestly, as I mentioned before in this video, Etsy is a good place to get started. It's how you learn how to make a product that adds value to a customer. It's how you learn how to design something that's in high demand, do research, how to create the digital product itself. So it is a great platform to get started. But now, if you want to take your business to the next level, it is time to have your own platform on which you sell your digital products.
And for what it's worth, guys, make sure you watch my interview with Bailey, who absolutely kills it with her Etsy digital product sales. I mean, I don't know if she would agree with Mickey or not. Either way, like Mickey's still making money selling digital products on Etsy, by the way. Don't forget that fact. She's still making money. She's just not investing time launching new products, she said. Bailey is also still making money. I'm pretty sure she's still launching new products, but then she also parlayed her success on Etsy to success off of Etsy as well. I mean, it was super impressive, her operation that she described in that interview. I will link to it in the YouTube cards here and in the description. It is well worth the watch if you're interested.
So let's go through 2 examples really quick about how much more you can charge for the same item off of Etsy versus how much you would have to charge if you were selling it on Etsy. So first off, let's type in Instagram story template. And we're gonna go ahead and filter here by bestseller. And you can see here with the best sellers, things that are actually selling, most of them are in the $4 or $5 range, and the absolute maximum that anyone's able to charge here is about $15, which is wildly low for anywhere between 20 to 80 story templates. Okay, so now let's hop over to Instagram, and I'm going to show you an example here. So if we look at my Nicole, which by the way, if you don't follow her, you should, she's incredible. If we go to her link, she sells all sorts of digital products, courses, memberships, etc. But I'm gonna just hone in on this Instagram story templates right now. So down here is the story template bundle. And you can see here that she sells 160 plug and play templates for $87, which is incredible, right? Like so much more than you can get on Etsy. So that's her stuff. And you can see here she's...
And for what it's worth, guys, like as long as you have a monopoly on someone's attention, you can upsell people. I mean, that is something that is for sure true. You just saw it. The people who are buying for $87, they simply didn't go look at Google or Etsy or Canva, right? And realize that they could spend a lot less. Plus, some people probably want to support their favorite creators, right? So, I mean, it's understandable. For reference, like a lot of us are print-on-demand sellers, like Gear Bubble still to this day gets away with charging people monthly to use them for fulfillment. Even though, I mean, come on now. There's any number of companies like Printful and Printify that you can use for free that are cheaper, you know what I mean, with a wider selection of products. It's just that Gear Bubble monopolizes people's attention. They don't do any research. They end up paying monthly. So this stuff goes on all the time.
She's got testimonials and all of that kind of stuff. I just love her stuff so much. And I know that she sells these like hotcakes. She's getting between 5 and 20 times more amount per sale to whoever's selling the similar items on Etsy. Okay, let's choose another niche and do another example. Let's say you're into real estate and you want to help other real estate agents products. I'll be honest with you that you will. I recently opened a new Instagram account for one of my digital products, and I was able to make over $1,500 in sales before hitting 300 followers. So it is very doable. Or take this YouTube channel, for example. I'm not that great at Instagram. I haven't really cracked that nut yet. And so I went ahead to try YouTube, and I've gained over 4,000 subscribers in 4 months here on YouTube and sold well over $2,500 worth of my digital products just from the few videos that I put out on this channel. So it is very...
Yes, guys, for sure. As somebody with 100, whatever, 60,000 subscribers I have now, you can definitely make money from people's attention. I know you guys already know that. Thank you, by the way, for watching my videos. And definitely go show Mickey some love. Again, first link in the description, because this is her content at the end of the day.
Very possible, and sometimes it just takes finding the thing that works for you, your personality, and if one thing's not working, try something else and pivot to see if you like it. It doesn't really matter which social media platform that you choose as long as you start driving those customers to your email list. An email list is crucial because it allows you to retarget the same customers that have already bought from you. There's actually between a 60 and 70% chance of making a sale with a customer that already exists versus between 5 and 20% chance of making a sale to a brand new customer. And so these are what we call hot buyers, and getting...
And guys, I literally dropped a video last week on Everbee email to demystify how easy it is to start using it. It is, I mean, you need to watch the video, all right? Because it's like 2 clicks and all of a sudden Everbee email is working, and your email automation will automatically work to your customers. They opt in and you can send them. And again, it's basically done for you. All right. If you're scared of email automation, email marketing, like I'm guessing most people watching right now have not done it before, Everbee email, just like Mickey said, Everbee is a great place to start with an online business. Everbee email is the easiest way to start with email marketing. And again, it's going to bring your Etsy customers back to resell them. All right. I'll link to it right here, that video, and I'll put it in the description. Make sure you watch.
These customers on your email list allows you to retarget them much more effectively. Therefore, you don't have to spend as much on ads. Therefore, you don't have to spend all this time churning out new listings or new social media posts all the time. You can be more strategic about it and take your time back a little bit more.
And for what it's worth, guys, the way you speak to somebody who's already purchased from you, or that you know their targeted like interests, is not the same way you speak to somebody. And I mean, you never actually talk to them, right? It's like if you're running an ad or putting out products and it's like a cold audience where you don't know if they're interested in dogs or cats, right? You don't speak to them the same way you would speak to somebody that you know is into dogs, right? You get what I'm saying? So when you're bringing back customers, your messaging to them is not the same as if you're running like Facebook ads to a completely new audience that has no clue who you are, what your brand is, etc.
I guarantee that even if you started from scratch, if you take a platform, any platform, social media platform seriously, you could be making 4 times the amount per sale on that social media platform than you're making on Etsy within 2 to 3 months. I really believe that you can. So now that I've convinced you that you can make a lot more money selling these same digital products that you already have off of Etsy than on it, I'm gonna do a brief overview on how you can get started setting up a platform and a system to make you successful with this.
Before she gets to that, I just wanted to say, and then I promise I won't interrupt for a while, that is tough. Like every time I hear social media, I cringe a little bit, man, because it's like, dude, social media, we all know, like they want us to pay for visibility. Just like Etsy wants us to pay for ads, Amazon wants us to pay for ads. They want to monetize that space, right? They're monetizing people's attention. Like I said, everybody that I think gets into social media and tries to make a new business page thinks that they're just going to like post random stuff and get all this free visibility. 99 point something percent just quit. You know what I mean? Probably within a week. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't work. I mean, it can work for that like outlier 0.00%, whatever. But if you're going to do it, man, make sure you have a good strategy that like you yourself would be interested in. Because if it's like just posting, you know, thumbnails of your products that are available for sale on Etsy or something like that, I mean, come on now, you can do better.
First step is to create a freebie that gets people into your funnel that then puts them on your email list. I'm going to share 2 different softwares that are both great options. I use them both for various different niches that I use to sell digital products. The first one is called System.io. This is great for beginners because it is free up to 3 funnels and 2,000 email subscribers. So if you don't want to spend any money out the gate, this is going to be the option for you because it is free to help you get started. And there's checkout pages on here and everything. It can integrate with Stripe so you can take payments directly. So it acts as your website, your email autoresponder, and your funnel all in one, and you can get started for free. Now,
yes, less friction is a good thing. I love that recommendation. Also, I just wanted to mention that this is for off of Etsy. When I recommended the Everbee email, that is for Etsy. And like I said, less friction. You can implement it in like 2 clicks.
Disclaimer, I personally tend to think that Flowdesk, which is the other software program that I use, is easier for newbies, and I like the aesthetics of it a lot more. It's just easier to use, it's more beautiful from a customer experience perspective, but it does cost money out the gate, whereas System.io is free to start. So Flowdesk, if you do want to use it, I do have a 50% off coupon link down in my description that you can use. It gets you 50% off for your first year, but it is going to cost a little bit of money out the gate month by month, whereas System.io is free. So just take that into consideration as you're deciding, but both of them can act as funnels. They can collect your emails, you can do email automations on them, and you can do checkout pages on them both. So you can check them both out and see which one's gonna work best for you, which one you like best, which one's most intuitive for you. Now, if this still sounds very overwhelming, I went ahead and put together a free...
Just to recap, she said offer a freebie. And by the way, now she's giving you a freebie, free funnel building starter toolkit. So I think that basically wraps the video, guys. At the end of the day, I think the biggest takeaway is that if you're able to get people's attention, right? That's the blank that's almost never filled in, though. It's like, how do you get out in front of people and capture their attention long enough to make them interested in who you are, what you have to offer them, etc. But if you can solve that part, you want to establish yourself as an authority, build a relationship with them, capture their email address or any other way you can maintain communications, and that is the cornerstone of your business. You can sell to them over time if you have something they're interested in, guys. Anyways, make sure you go send Mickey some love. Check out her channel, top link in the description. If you appreciated this video, let the YouTube algorithm know by hitting that like button. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.